Hey guys, welcome back to the AWS Cloud Demos. My name is Murali, and in today's demo, we are diving into the exciting topic deploying AWS resources using GitHub Actions in the DevOps pipeline with Terraform. Okay, so if you are looking to automate your infrastructure deployment and streamline your DevOps workflow, this video is for you. Okay, so let's get started. So as you can see, I've already pushed the code here, GitHub Actions Terraform. So I will put this link in the description box below. You just need to copy that link and check out this project where this will discuss about how to deploy your Terraform AWS resources using GitHub Actions. Okay, so make sure to check out before you start the demo. Okay, and also I'm using a couple of plugins, which is tflint, which is going to lint our code, and it will show any warnings or anything if you are lint, if it just lints your code. Okay, and then also I'm using tfsec, which is tf security from Trivi. Basically what it does is it will scan your code and report any issues with your Terraform code. Okay, so we will see in action. Okay, so I've already logged into my console, and I've also started my repository here, where you can see I've already initialized my Terraform code with my backend S3. So I'm going to store my state remotely in my backend in my S3 bucket. Okay, so make sure you store somewhere your TF state. Don't store it locally. Okay, so make sure to do that. So that's my backend. So that's I hope that is pretty clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file, which is main.tf file. So basically what I will be doing here is I'm going to simply copy and paste the code here, as you can see. So what I'm trying to do here is pretty simple. Okay, so we are creating an S3 bucket, which with the name, this is the name of my bucket. And I'm also adding a couple of things here, which is bucket owner permissions to only bucket owner preferred. Okay, so also I'm giving ACL and public access bucket, public access block. Okay, so you can see all these rules here, and also I have the KMS key for encryption of my bucket. So why I'm doing all this, I'm going to discuss with you. Basically, so what we are trying to do here is we are going to create a bucket. Okay, forget about all of this for a second. Okay, so basically we are trying to create a bucket. This bucket will usually in Terraform, this is enough for you to create a bucket. But why I'm doing all this, because the tfsec, right, the tfsec will catch the errors when you try to only deploy the bucket. Okay, so it enforces permissions on your bucket, where you have to allow, where you have to put ACLs, where you have to put ACLs, block public ACLs, and also the encryption and all that stuff. Okay, so without this, the tfsec won't accept your creation of this bucket. So the best rule is to follow tfsec to make sure your bucket is secure. Not only just your S3 bucket, it relates to pretty much every AWS resource. So you just need to follow it. So you can simply, so what I'm trying to do is I'm going to remove all of this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to initialize my bucket. I'm going to initialize my code. Okay, so let's initialize the code with our backend. Yeah, I think that has configured our S3. Okay, so finally we have finally we have initialized our Terraform code. So what I'm going to run here is I'm going to simply run tfsec. Okay, let's see tflint first. So is there any errors, warnings? No, nothing. So we don't have anything. So, and let's move on to tfsec here. So as you can see, there are 9 potential problems detected. Okay, so so what are those problems? Let's look at that. So the first one is high error or critical error, maybe you can think of like that. No public access block, so not blocking public ACLs. Okay, so it is reporting about a public ACLs. All right, and the second high issue is no public access block, or so not blocking public policies. Okay, you can see all the tfsec reporting errors. So you can see encryption is not enabled. You can see you're ignoring public ACLs, no public access. So it reports about, this is just a medium warning, which is nothing but bucket does not have logging enabled. So I will show you how to disable this, and also make sure to address these high issues. Okay, so these are all the medium issues where versioning is not enabled, logging is not enabled. So that is the reason why you will have to create all this stuff. So that's why we have created ownership controls, bucket ACLs, public access block. We have created versioning. We have created encryption with the KMS key, and also we have created, also make sure you have not created the logging, basically. So we will now see how the errors are going to disappear. Okay, so now if you try to rerun that, So now 10 passed and only one potential problem. So what is the potential problem is bucket does not have logging enabled. So that's simple it is. Okay. So we will try to put a comment here which will um, basically disable the warning, because it's fine for my bucket where I don't want any logging at the moment. So that's why I'm going to disable this tfsec rule. So I'm going to ignore it basically, right? So now if I go ahead and in my terminal, if I clear this out and try to run tfsec again, so yeah, all no problems detected. So one warning, we have suppressed it. All right. So I hope you get the idea. I hope you understand why we are doing all this. Okay, right? So make sure to use these tfsec rules in order to have these rules applied in your organization. So that will make sure you have your DevOps pipeline secure. Okay. So now we have successfully created our S3 bucket. Successfully linked our code, and then we have done a security scan on our code, which is amazing. This is basically following the DevSecOps policies. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a pipeline. So let's create a pipeline. Now let's create GitHub, right? And I'm going to create another folder which is workflows. And here I'm going to create a file called deploy.yaml file. Okay, so basically what this does is it simply creates our Terraform. So let me just copy the code to make it simple. Okay, so this is our pipeline name, which is Terraform CI/CD. So we are going to deploy Terraform AWS resources. Okay, and this is on the branch, on the main branch. Okay, so when you push on the main branch, so and also when you make a pull request on your main branch, right? We have our environment variables, as you can see. This is our environment variables, and I'm mentioning that AWS region. All right, and we also have a couple of secrets, which is AWS access ID and secret access key. Okay, so basically we are trying to check out the repository. We are configuring the AWS credentials like here. So we will see where we can set these secrets in our GitHub workflow. All right, and then we have our Terraform, where we are going to set up our Terraform. So we are installing tflint. As you can see, we are just checking out from the tflinters. We are just downloading it, a zip file, unzip it, and then tflint. All right, and then we have tfsec, which is also being downloaded from the tfsec GitHub release, and then also installed using this. All right, and then we have we are then initializing our init. So before you run this, you have to make sure that you have set up your AWS access key and secret key. Without that, it's going to throw error. So this step doesn't run, right? So make sure you have your access key and secret key before running this step. So basically, we are trying to run init, and we are going to format it. We are going to validate it, and then we are going to lint it. So these are the best practices. Okay, these are the best practices for Terraform before you deploy any resources to the AWS. Okay, and make sure you run tfsec as well. So as you have already seen, tfsec is nothing but it runs a security scan. Okay, and then you want to plan your resources, and then you will simply apply those resources so that it will deploy um, into our AWS. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and try to push this code, and let's also try and start the pipeline. Okay, so I'm going to create another repository just to make sure. I'm going to delete this repository later because I'm just want to show it in the demo. So I'm going to create a repository which is new, div demos, and you can see DevOps CI/CD pipeline using Terraform. All right, and I'm going to add a README file, a simple README file, just to create a repository. So basically now we have created this repository, and we will also try and add this repository into our local, and then we will try and push the code. So we are in the main branch, and we will create another branch shortly. All right, so now that I have created the GitHub repository, so you can go ahead and see this is my temporary GitHub repository for checking out this code. So you might have to refer to the Git. Okay, let me go to the repositories. So you'll have to find out the GitHub Actions Terraform. So this is the actual code where you can actually check out. But for this demo, I'm using TF demos as my repository, but this repository is going to be deleted, okay, after the demo, right? All right. So now I've checked out the repository. So this is the temporary repository, and I've already checked out the repository, and I've created a branch called main. So I'm gonna do git status now, and I add git um, add dot git status. So you can see what we are trying to add. We are trying to add a workflow deploy.yaml file. So you can see this is our YAML file that we have discussed, and git ignore backend main tf git ignore. Also you can see the git ignore file here, which is specific to the Terraform, where you can see all the ignored files and folders. Okay, now let's do git commit -m update workflow and just do git push. So that should actually push our code to the main repository. So if you go back and refresh this page, you should see all our files, right? So you can see this little dot where the workflow, the GitHub already started the action. So you can see go to actions, and you can see the Terraform lint security check and everything. So this is throwing an error because it is not able to find our AWS security access keys and security password, right? So how do you configure that? Go to settings in the project. Okay, inside the project, go to settings and click on secrets and variables and go to actions. Okay, so you see two things here, environment secrets and repository secrets. So this is basically the repository secrets. Now you go ahead and create the repository secret, and this is going to be my AWS access key. So let me put the AWS access key, and that's my AWS access key ID. And make sure you put your access key ID here and just add the secret. So you should be able to see the add secret here. Okay, also create a new one, which is called AWS secret access key, which is this one, and also make sure you add your secret access key here. Okay, so you should have these things before you run it. Okay, so once you have added your access key ID and secret access ID, so go to actions one more time. So this workflow has already failed, so click on the workflow and you make sure you try to rerun all the jobs. You just run the jobs, so that will trigger this job again. So once you click this thing, I should start the job, and this time you should be able to see your AWS credentials. Sorry, you should be able to check out the repository and initialize your Terraform without any problem. You can see all the steps are being done, which is set up job, check out repository, configure AWS credentials, set up Terraform, tflint, tfsec, tflint format, Terraform validate, Terraform lint, tfsec, and the Terraform plan is now outputting all the resources that we are trying to create here. Okay, and looks like the Terraform plan is also done, and Terraform apply is also started because we have directly pushed the code into the main repository, okay, into the main branch. So that's why you're seeing the Terraform apply has already finished creating it, right? So that's the reason why it worked straight away. So what we're going to do now is going to go ahead and try to create a new branch called git checkout -b update tf or something like that. So this is my branch. All right, so I've checked out update tf branch. So now let's say I want to go ahead and make sure I want to change something. So what do you want to change? This key is used to encrypt bucket, or just remove this bucket objects. Just say encrypt the bucket. Okay, so this is a minimum change that I want to make. And now if you do git status, git add dot git commit -m update main. Okay, and then I'm going to do just git push because the remote branch doesn't exist. I'm going to git push the origin. Okay, so now we have pushed the branch. So go ahead and go back to the pull request. Okay, so we have created a branch called this one, and now we are going to raise a pull request which is going to merge into main branch. Okay, so in the real time you will add the reviewers here. So if you want to have your team members here, or David or something, so you can put your team members here so that they can review, and once they approve, your branch can update tf will be merged back into the main. Okay, so but for this demo, as we don't have any other reviewers, I'm just going to create a pull request here. All right, so we have created our pull request here, and shortly you should see the pipeline. Yeah, that's the pipeline, and click on details. The pipeline starts running. Okay, we made a simple change, so it should not take much time because we have already done it. We already done apply as well. So let's wait for a minute. Let's finish this pipeline. also tfsec reporting there are no problems detected in our code. So now it is trying to, yeah, there you go. So now we have, okay, now we are done with the pipeline. So you go back to the pull request and click on update main. So it looks like our pipeline has passed. So you can see this green tick, right? So now we are now able to merge our code into the main branch. Okay, so you can squash merge, or you can squash all your commits and merge it, or you can directly merge it. Okay, so let's go ahead and merge it and see how the pipeline behaves when we try to merge into the main branch. Okay, now that we have merged our branch, which is update.tf, into the main branch, so go to the actions, and now if you go to so you can see this is the merge pipeline which is started, and you can click on this one. So you can see, and it validate, so it does run everything. So now this is Terraform apply auto approve. So basically it is trying to deploy our infrastructure, which is already done because we previously we have accidentally pushed it into the main branch. And you can see now our pipeline has succeeded. So I hope you liked it so far. Just go ahead and click that like button and also smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. So now if you learned something, just don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch more videos like this. So now that you have successfully merged into your pipeline, and also our Terraform CI/CD pipeline has successfully ran, what if I want to clean up my resources, right? So how you gonna do it? So go ahead and open up your GitHub workflows and create a new file called cleanup.yaml file. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to destroy everything. Okay, so also you can do a little bit of cron job where this will delete runs every midnight. Okay, so you can adjust as needed. Basically we are trying to delete or run this every midnight if you have accidentally created resources and forgot to delete, right? So this is a Terraform cleanup, and you can see Terraform cleanup job, which is basically also configuring AWS credentials. It is trying to initialize, you get the plan, and then you simply do apply auto approve. This is basically destroying our plan. Okay, so this is simply nothing but deploying our infrastructure. So okay, now let's go ahead and do a git status, git add dot, do a git status again, git commit -m add cleanup job, git push. So you just push it. So now we have pushed into the same branch, okay, but we have merged this branch into main. So if you go back and refresh this page, and new pull request, and from here choose update tf, this is our branch, and this main is our base branch, and this is the code change that we have done. We have added the cleanup job, right? And now create the pull request and create the pull request. So this is we have created a pull request, right? So our job has started running, but this time you're going to only run Terraform, the lint job and security check and all that stuff. This is going to run for some time. All right, just wait for a second until it finishes. Awesome. So now that pipeline has succeeded, and if you go back to the actions, so you can see all workflows, Terraform CI/CD. Where's the workflow? Maybe refresh it. So once you have succeeded your job, your recent job, right? So basically we have a condition here which only triggers when you merge this into our the main branch, right? So what you can do now is go ahead and merge this pull request and click on this pull request here and merge the pull request. All right, so once it merges, right, so the pull request is now merged. Go to actions. So you can see now there's another job which is Terraform cleanup, but we are already running this merge pipeline. So let's wait for it to finish, and let's go back to the actions, and we will run a Terraform cleanup job. Okay, so also make sure once you have deployed your Terraform job, you go to the S3 bucket and try to copy the bucket name from here. Copy the bucket name, and in the buckets paste it. So this is the bucket we have created using our GitHub workflow actions, and we have created using our Terraform, right? So now you go back to the pipeline. So looks like it is succeeded already. Yeah, it succeeded already. Now if you go back, and now that our infrastructure is also created, I'm happy with how my pipeline has run. So what I'm going to do is now going to go to the cleanup job, all right, and run the workflow. Okay, simply run the workflow. This is a manual job, so you can simply run the workflow. You can see the Terraform cleanup has started, post apply cleanup. So you can see our job has started. So that's going to delete all my resources, Terraform init. So now it is trying to destroy. You can see here, see all the resources are being deleted here. Awesome. Amazing. Our pipeline has succeeded finally. Okay, now if you go back to your S3 bucket console and refresh this, yeah, the bucket is no longer available and the bucket is gone. So we have successfully triggered the pipeline. We have successfully cleaned up our resources when you merge your development branch into your main branch. So that's how you have created a complete end-to-end pipeline, right? So if you really if you have any questions on this, just put in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer. And I'm glad that you have learned something today, where you have seen an end-to-end pipeline for creating resources and destroying resources. And I hope you have learned something, and I hope you will like this video, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.